Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Monday night. So hopefully you guys had a great day. The miners had a pretty good day today. Bitcoin had an alright day. It wasn't that bad. It was down a little bit towards the end of the day, but it wasn't bad. Overall, a couple of things we're going to take a look at today is the Bitcoin network hash rate. I believe it's reached a new all-time high here on the daily time frame. We'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at Bitcoin charts, Bitcoin miners themselves, and then we'll get into what was the other thing I was going to take a look at? Hive. Hive is getting into Paraguay. They're going to be building out a 100 megawatt facility. We'll take a look at all that details there, and we'll get into your guys' Q&A. So, as always, should be a pretty easy show. Let's get into this stuff here. But as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice for entertainment only. My full disclosures down below. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe, hit the like button. It helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin really quick here. We're going to look at the network hash rate first off on it. And you can see here, this is on the daily here. This is as of yesterday, and July 21st, we reached 730 exahash here on the daily yesterday. Now, I've been pulling in some of the data here for the last couple of weeks, like 2-3 weeks on my own here on Bitcoin into my database. And I'm showing that it was just a little bit ago at about, what was that? 9:59, even before that a little bit, like 9:50 Central Standard Time. It reached 865 exahash on the daily and basically on the minute. I'm checking it by the minute here. So that's interesting that that's the case here. Let's see if it actually spiked up at all here recently. Oh, it's actually up to 879. So you can see that down here. Hopefully you guys can see that. It is right there, 879 exahash right now. It was 847, 859, 879 right now on it. And that should be the max. Yeah, 879 is the max on it right now. Okay, so I was calling for Bitcoin network hash rate to reach that by the end of the year, but that's on like the 30-day average. So we need to be higher from where we are right now on the 30-day average in order to get that. Because if we look at the 30-day average on it right now, we can see here, well, let's see like the 7-day average while we're at it. The 7-day average is now, as of yesterday, at 612 exahash. So we're getting back up there a little bit. Our previous high here was 657, right? And on the daily, our previous high was probably, gosh, I don't know, maybe right around here. That's 721. So we definitely blew that past. We're now at 730 exahash on the 1 day. Going to 30-day, we can see that we are starting to climb back up here to 585 exahash. So my thoughts are that we're going to be somewhere by the end of the year at around 800 to 900 exahash on the 30-day average, potentially. We might be even higher than that if, I mean, we're going that fast up already on the daily on it, but we'll see. Okay, next here is the Bitcoin fees per day. Those increased a little bit here today as well. Those are up to 13.7, so still pretty low compared to where we would like to see those. And then we got the hash price index. Hash price index has increased here to about 53. Still kind of where it's been for the last couple of days. It's around the 50s. It's gone below that a little bit, come back up. Not a big deal there. And then Bitcoin today was actually down. It was up at one point and it came back down. But it was down 0.91% on the day. It's on then yesterday, which ended at 7 o'clock my time, which would have been UTC time 0. And Bitcoin right now is up just a little bit here, but the miners actually had a pretty good day here. Looking at the miners here, we can see that any was just up a little bit. Argo was up huge for really no reason there. I'm surprised it was up 20%. Who else was up quite nicely today? BitTBT was up 7%, Bitfarms up 3%, Cypher up 4%, Cleanspark up just a 1.6%, CORZ was up 6.3%. That was nice. What else have you? DMG was up a little bit. Digihost was down. Hive was up 8.43% on the news, I think. Hive was up another 3.79%. IREN was up 2.48%. Then we had Marathon being down, Mawson being down as well, Riot being up just a little bit, Stronghold being flat, and Wolf up 2.33%. Okay. Let's see. And then WGMI was also up a little bit here, along with BitQ, DAP, and BKCH as well. Those are the ETFs for the miners on that one. Okay. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, I guess the Ethereum ETF are supposed to go live as well. So we'll see what kind of inflows we get into that. What kind of, we'll see what kind of volume we get on it in general, just how much people are going to be buying into it compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin obviously came out swinging earlier this year. And we'll see how Ethereum does tomorrow, if it does go live. I'm not 100% sure. David, I think you said it does go live tomorrow. So it'll be an exciting day, an interesting day for sure. All right, so that's it on the charts. Let's take a look at the stories that we do have here, which is, I forgot. Okay, well, we'll start off with this, I guess. Ben Gagnon came out with a letter to shareholders. It's on the company website. You guys can take a look at it. Nice thing in here is that he did provide that they are fully funded to 21 exahash in here as well. They have strong opportunities going forward, and he's very optimistic about their path going forward, everything else. And I think just overall recap of what the company's doing right now. I think it's pretty good to read. Go ahead and take a look at it if you have the time. I'm not going to go over it here right now. You guys can take a look at that one. But that's it on Bitfarms and Ben Gagnon. Let's get into Hive here. So Hive Digital Technology announces plans to build 100 megawatt hydroelectric data center in Paraguay, targeting to double revenue and increase hash rate to over 12 exahash in the next year. So the interesting part here is that Hive is also getting into Paraguay. Who else is in Paraguay? Bitfarms, right? Bitfarms is in there. We also have Marathon getting into Paraguay as well. So I think any FUD that's been stated about Paraguay and the government there, or issues with the government and the power company there, or government-run power company, the ANDE, it's ANDE spelled out. Acronym, I'm not sure, or maybe it's not an acronym, but I thought maybe it was an acronym for something else. But I think that just kind of dispels all the FUD and the rumors around that being a hostile place or not a great place to be in. You're seeing more and more companies getting into Paraguay for the mining there. And I'm sure Hive wouldn't get into it if they didn't see it as a stable, which they do actually stated in the press release here that they see it as a stable government with a lot of good things happening. So this is great news for Hive here. And I'll give you guys my thoughts here towards the end of it. But here's what we have. So Hive today announced its plans for constructing a 100 megawatt digital asset mining operation in Paraguay after touring the country and meeting with President Santiago Pena and his senior cabinet ministers. Hive endorses his vision for business-friendly Paraguay. Okay, there you go. Frank stated the following thing. So Frank Holmes, the Hive's executive chairman, stated, "We are thrilled to announce our plan for a 100 megawatt project in Paraguay utilizing green and clean energy sourced from a Taipu hydroelectric dam. The potential opportunity is expected to add up to an additional 6.5 exahash per second to our Bitcoin mining operations, increasing our global exahash to 12.1 exahash. This represents a significant milestone in our diversified growth strategy and supports our commitment to expanding our global footprint with data center operations in Canada, Sweden, Iceland, and now Paraguay. We are confident that this venture can deliver healthy returns and drive long-term value, fostering economic growth and innovation in the region." We know that Paraguay, for the most part, you can probably build out a data center there in about 9 to 12 months or something like that, which is in line with what they're saying here, that within the next year. They go into some more details there about the information there and just their thoughts on it. We do have also a fleet upgrade and equipment purchase, so they have purchased some more miners here. So we have acquired an additional 500 Bitmain S21 Pro N miners to maintain our cadence in upgrading our equipment every month. S21 Pros are the latest and most efficient machines on the market with hash rate of 234 terahash per second and efficiency of 15 joules per terahash. These units are expected to ship this month and are integral to the company's strategy of continual upgrading its fleet while growing its HODL position. So that's good there. Nice addition there. Doesn't amount to much, but it does help. And then their strategic HODL increased here to 2,521. Okay. No, excuse me. My thoughts on this. It's good that they're getting newer machines, unplugging some of the older machines that they have. So that's great news there. I wish there would have been another 0 in front of that instead of 500. It would have been nice to see like 5,000. But it is still a nice little increase there from that. When it comes to this part here, them getting 12 exahash sometime next year, possibly around this time, I think that's great. But that's just going to basically maintain them to the stated goal of keeping them at themselves at 1% of the Bitcoin network hash rate. Right? We just talked about the Bitcoin network hash rate just a second ago, where we're now at a new all-time high of 800 something exahash per second or per day right now, on day average right now, popping up. So my point with that is they are still looking to be at the 1% target of the network hash rate. That's kind of their goal, is to maintain that. They are still not looking to be, well, they're not fighting for like the top 5 position here with the miners. They're happy with having the 1% of the network hash rate, and that's great. And that's kind of where this would possibly get them to. Because if my thoughts and projections are correct, that we're going to be about 800 to 900 exahash by the end of this year, by the middle of next year, I would expect us to be somewhere around, possibly around was it going to be 1,100 exahash to somewhere around the 1,200 exahash range as well. Somewhere around there, maybe a little bit higher than that. So this will just keep them in line with that. Okay, that's kind of my thoughts on it. So it's good growth, but it's not as ambitious as I would like to see, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. If they come out there getting to like 24, 30 exahash by this next year, okay, now they're going to be a big player here looking to compete with the top 5, 7 miners or something like that. But them just getting to 12, that still puts them on the lower end of things. All right, now going down here, incentive grants. So they are getting themselves some stock options here. They had commented here, the management team or board has now received RSUs or options for 18 months. I think that's really good on them that they haven't done that, especially since we were in a bear market in 2022. 2023 was a better year, so I can see why they're possibly giving themselves a little bit here. And they actually state that at Harvard Business School research shows that there are incentives to do that, with trying to get everybody on board with the same vision of the company. If you give them stock options and grants, things like that, they'll be more inclined to work harder because then they want the stock price to go up so they can make more money in the long run, right? Okay, I completely understand that. So accordingly, Hive announced today the granting of 2.491 million of restricted share units to certain employees, officers, directors, and eligible consultants. I think this is fine. It's not that bad. 2.491 million right now, based on where they are in price. What is that possibly going to be at? Around $10 million or something like that. Depending when they vest and all that stuff, I'm okay with that. That's not too bad, especially since they haven't given themselves anything in 18 months. Okay. Bitcoin's going to be going up. They're doing pretty good things here, growing their hash rate, improving their hash rate as well, going into Paraguay as well. I can see this. I'm okay with this. This isn't too bad. Okay. But that is it. And then my spreadsheet here right now let's see, take a look at Hive here. Hive right now, I did up their PE up a little bit to 8. They are growing at least somewhat. I mean, I could possibly get them up to maybe a 10 here. I think their growth is still kind of small compared to the other miners, but they are growing. They're going to be doubling themselves, so I'll give them a PE of 10, meaning I think they should be between like $5.53 to $8.30. They're at $4.50. They're kind of undervalued right now a little bit, right? My original one was 5 on them, and they kind of blew past that as it was. They are at 450. I had them at between 277 and 415, so they have gone past that. And I think the growth that we're seeing now in the next year, I think it's fair to give them at least a 10 PE here. So this is kind of where I'm looking at them to be right now. So pretty close to being fair valued, still undervalued though. Okay, and then we did add in here some of the 500 miners that they added here. That gets them now to 570 or 5.7 exahash with current purchases and my estimations on some of the miners that might be coming offline here as well. All right, that would be it for it all. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things here, and we'll call it a day. Okay, let's go there. Let's go back here to the screen that I want to see. Okay. Hopefully I don't miss any of your guys' questions here. Let's see. I'm trying to go back up. David says, let's see. Darren Brown. Wow. Yeah. 865. Yeah, I know. That's definitely something's being plugged in someplace, and it's quite a bit. Let's see. Hi, Sebastian. Expected Bit Digital to explode as the Ethereum ETF is going to come up tomorrow. We'll see how the ETF does. Is it also going to be delayed by one day? So with Bitcoin, whatever buying happens on Wednesday won't be recorded until possibly, or won't be actually purchased until Thursday maybe. No, tomorrow's what? Tomorrow's Tuesday, Wednesday. Sorry. Keep getting my dates mixed up here. So any inflows into the ETFs might not start buying until Wednesday. So that's when maybe you'll see the price section on that. Just something to keep an eye on. Hi, Seb. Do you think there is a chance that Bitcoin and therefore miners might not rally much if the Democrats get reelected, given their generally anti-crypto stance? No. I mean, Bitcoin's been through both parties before, right? We've had Democrats, we've had Republicans in there, and Bitcoin just does its thing anyways. I don't think would impact it negatively in the long run, at least. Short term, we might have a little blip here, but then it would continue to bounce as I would expect it to do. Let's see. Hello, Sebastian. Did you get a chance to I guess maybe look over some information about the court case with Riot and Bitfarms? It ends tomorrow from what I've seen. When will a decision be announced? Thanks. I have not. I've not seen anything on that. The court case is in Canada, so I'm not fluent in how to access court documents in Canada and things like that, so I don't know what's going on there. We'll see. I would expect the decision to come probably within, I don't know what the time frame is on that. It could be a couple of days, could be a couple of weeks. I don't know what that process is for the tribunal there, as far as how much time frame they usually take to weigh in on those cases, I guess, or to make a judgment on it. Yeah. Referring to the Ontario Securities Commission court case. Yes. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought you were talking about. Okay. What are miners that would be benefited the most from the Ethereum ETF launch, holding Cleanspark Mara as the largest BTC HODL? What do we need to know for the Ethereum hyper, if there's any? In the past, Hive had quite a bit also. I don't think they have any more now. I think they sold it all. I haven't seen anything reported in the last couple of months as far as them holding anything in Ethereum. I have to look back through their quarterly results to see if there's anything there, but I don't think there was. The other one would be BitDigital. BitDigital has like what, 19,000, 20,000, something like that, or 29,000. I can't remember exactly what they have, but they have a lot. So they would possibly gain from that depending on where Ethereum goes. Okay, so that's the one I would look at. Who else has a large? I think it might be a smaller miner that has some Ethereum as well. I'm not sure which one though. Let's see. So let's say you have 0 in miners right now, but you have 100,000 cash. Which miners would you buy and how much would you put into each one? I would probably go. Okay. I mean, how many miners do I get to choose? Do I get to choose 3 miners, 5 miners? At this point, let's just go with possibly 5 miners. So if I had 5 miners right now, I don't know what the future is going to hold for each one of those. All we need is one good press release from any of these miners, and they might outperform the other ones. So that's always the case there. If that's the case, I would probably go evenly on Bitfarms, IREN, Cleanspark, Core, and then it would be a toss-up between Marathon and Riot there. Possibly Riot. I think Riot is maybe more undervalued than Marathon at this point. So those are the ones I would possibly go into. Do you think Hive will announce a new ATM to fund this new announced hash rate growth? Possibly. They do have a nice HODL position that they could use also from that. And they have used that before to grow without using the ATM, but the stock price has been going up quite nicely here. They could possibly use the ATM as well. Might happen. Hello, Seb. Could you please show us the Bitfarm page where you analyze its value? Any update on the page? Thanks. There is no update on the page from, well, we haven't had any updates from them anyways recently here, except for the June production update. For Bitfarms, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, my throat. Oh, okay. Have to catch my breath here a little bit. For Bitfarms, there's not much going on there. They're at 288. I think they should be somewhere between 417 and 625, right? So definitely a ways to go from where they really should be valued. And I think they might be like, there's maybe one other miner that might be still undervalued here based on my numbers here compared to the others. What else do we have here? Nothing else really changed here. We're looking for the quarter here. June quarter, ending quarter would be around 40.3 million based on my numbers here. It's a little bit of a decrease from the 49 million that they had, but it's not the 50% decrease that everybody was thinking we're going to have after the halving event. So that's actually pretty good. Miners, I mean, we have a bunch of miners coming in here. There's still a bunch that need to get installed here going forward to 21 exahash. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else going on here. Other than that, then here's all the financials for the quarters. And what else? What's their HODL at right now? The 59 million is their HODL right now? So they got that. We'll see what that gets increased to. They might increase that a little bit here in July as well. So that's basically it for Bitfarms. A lot of shares, 411 million. That's but they're also one of the first ones, along with Hive, to go public. So that's why they have a lot of shares. Hive actually went with a reverse split. That's why I have a lower share number there. But let's take a look at the miners really quick. I mean, you can see here that Bittier is now fairly valued. BitDigital, okay, BitDigital is still the one that's also undervalued, but it's getting pretty close to being fairly valued there. Bitfarms we just looked at. Cypher is fairly valued right now. Cleanspark, fairly valued. CORZ Scientific, this is a tough one because they're going to be diluting. So I think with the dilution that might happen after the warrants get exercised, they're going to be fairly valued at that point. Hive, let's see here. Hive, yeah, we talked about them. I upped their P to 5 or 10 from 5. So right now they're looking a little undervalued based on their growth going forward. Hut 8 is overvalued right now based on my numbers, but my numbers are also a bit off on them because we only have 1/4 of data on them right now after the company combined. IREN is fairly valued. Marathon, fairly valued. Riot, let's see, where's Riot right now? Riot is looking like it's getting a little bit overvalued right now, but that's with their past performance and uptime issues. If they fix their uptime issues going forward, then I do expect them to go up higher from there. TeraWolf looks like it's a little bit overvalued right now as well, and that's it. So, yeah, basically two companies that might be a little bit undervalued, Hive and Bitfarms more so than Hive right now. Okay, let's get back to your guys' Q&A. Okay. See. Ben has single-handedly solved Bitfarms communications and PR issues. Are you confident that as a CEO, he won't become too distracted from daily ops and the details required to hit growth targets? No, I don't think so. I think, well, I know, I don't have to think. I know Ben is a sharp guy, very smart, very astute of what's happening in the company. And if he has meetings daily with everybody, what's going on there, right? He now has to just manage, make sure that they're getting things done. The role of a CEO is kind of to have a path going forward and then also help employees, possibly their teams, get stuff done. And if they run into issues, help solve those issues, right? So that's kind of the way I will look at it that way. And I think that's the way that he looks at it also. But I don't think so. I think that won't be an issue. But yeah, they do need a PR issue. Well, they need to fix their PR. They need to be more proactive with getting information out there. Let's see, next one we got here is, hi Seb, where do you see Bitfarms at with Bitcoin at 150,000, Bitfarms at 21 exahash by the end of this year? I mean, if that happened, then we got to 150,000 by the end of the year and they get to 21 exahash, they should be much higher from where they are right now. At that point, we're looking at possibly being 5 to 6x, I would think, somewhere around there from where they are right now. And that's also, I think, if they can get Riot off their back. If Riot is still on their back, that might actually drag them down a little bit. Well, it wouldn't drag them down, but it would drag their upside potential a little bit, possibly there, but we'll see. Neville asks, what do you think about Quantum Expedition? So I don't know if you were on the space that I was on with them from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock. They are not a publicly traded company right now. They are very small. They have 23 or 25 petahash right now. And they are being right now crowdfunded. So it's kind of interesting the way that they're doing it. And I just don't know. I wish them all the best, but I don't know how that's going to work out. The one thing is if you invest with them, you're kind of locked in until you get a Series A round funding, and then you might be able to sell some of your shares at that point maybe, but you're looking at possibly 4 or 5 years, if not longer, before they go public or get bought out. And then at that point, you would possibly get something for it. They also stated they are looking to do dividends. I don't know how much weight I would put into that. None of the Bitcoin miners have done any dividends, and that's because you need as much capital to grow going forward if you want to survive and you want to do anything meaningful in this space. You have to grow. Let's see. Do you know the CoreWeave option dates for additional HPC with CORZ? I do not know, but they'd have, I don't think there's a dates that they, I mean, I think there's a time frame. I think it's like a year or something like that, but I don't know exactly the dates for it. Let's see, covered that question already. I heard that Paraguay recently announced an electricity price hike for Bitcoin miners starting August 1st. Do you have any thoughts on this? Yes, it was like 14%, I believe, on the supply of electricity. When you include all the other fees into it, it comes out to be like a 7% increase, which was like a quarter of a penny based on my estimates here, based on my numbers here. So it wasn't a huge, yes, it does amount to something going forward, but it's still not that big in the grand scheme of things. See. In a Simply Bitcoin interview with DMG CEO Sheldon this week, they said that they would look at using some of their power infrastructure to the news in the news site for AI. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, they can definitely do that. I don't know how much megawatts they're looking into doing that. It all depends on the customer you get there. Right now, as I've said before, the only major customers that we have with any of the publicly traded miners is BitDigital, having a customer there for 97, 93 million, whatever it is, a year. And then Core, having a customer with CoreWeave for, was it 12 years with 3.5 billion. And I think they upped that to now to like 4.2 billion or something like that over the next 12 years. Other than that, everybody else is kind of toying in the area. We have some companies, Hive has some HPC customers as well. Not a lot of revenue yet, but it's increasing. Same thing with Hut 8. So it'll depend on the customer that they get and how much they can actually grow, I guess you could say, and how many machines they could have in there, how big of a scale they can get to. I think that's also important. So I wish them all the best. DMG's, they've been doing pretty good. DMG has a lot of things going for them. Do you have any predictions about what Trump will say at the BTC conference? Traditionally, BTC has dropped post-conference. Do you suspect it may be different this time? Cheers. Yeah, I don't know what he's going to say. I know, what's his VP, JD, was it JD Vance? I think it's JD Vance. His VP, I think he's pretty pro-Bitcoin. Will they announce that they're going to do a strategic, use Bitcoin as a strategic asset? I don't know, maybe, but I think they would change some laws in that. I think they can only use bonds, treasuries, I think also some mortgages. I believe some mortgages in there as well. So they have to change the law in order to do that. His speech is going to be on Saturday between, I think it's at 2, from 2 to 2:30, which is unfortunate. I'm going to be at the conference. I'm going to be there Thursday afternoon through Saturday morning. So I'm going to miss what he has to say, but I'm sure we're going to be able to watch it online anyways. And the reason I got to miss it is because I have a birthday party that I got to get to on Saturday night. So, yeah, I would have liked to have been there to watch it, be in person, but, family comes first. So that's kind of where I'm at on it, but we'll see what he has to say. But he says, I think we'll have to get used to saying zettahash. Yep. Instead of exahash, we'll have to go to zettahash. If Bitcoin gets to like 1,200 exahash, we'll have to say 1.2 zettahash. At that point, I think that's the correct one, right? Is that after exa we get zetta? Let's see. Will you be covering pre-earnings releases? We'd sure appreciate your opinion on who is more likely to hit miss forecast. I think the majority will miss forecasts, I think. But I don't really care about forecasts. I mean, forecasts are just forecasts, and that's all dependent on Bitcoin, where Bitcoin goes. My biggest concern is how are they growing? How are they using capital? Are they not, putting too much in their own pockets? That thing I look at as well. Operations, uptime, those things are more important to me, whether or not they reach their targets. I mean, at that point, they're just guessing to where possibly Bitcoin could be at. And it's usually like 3 months out, which is almost near impossible to do. Let's see. Do you know what is Bitfarms installed exahash? They haven't updated anything yet for us since the June production update. So I don't know. I just have that. Would it be too late to hop into Hive? Maybe buy on a pullback, a dip. At that point, maybe do that if you're really wanting to buy into Hive right now. If Bitcoin doubles from here, how much do you see miners going up in price, including dilution and difficulty? I think Bitcoin goes up at least 2x from here. We could see the miners doing at least, I think, somewhere between a 3 and 5x. Right, some might do a little bit better than others, but that's kind of where I would expect them to be, at least at around there. What do you expect Cleanspark's next earnings per share to be? Oh, I know that Cleanspark's not going to be too far off from where they were in Q1 as far as revenue. Let's take a look at Cleanspark here really quick. So not that one, I wanted this one. There we go, Cleanspark. So Cleanspark here was 111 million here in Q1 revenue, which I think is their actually Q2 numbers. For June, they're going to be 104. They installed quite a bit of hash rate there. We also had the halving in April, right? So we had almost 19 days of 6.25 Bitcoin being mined. And then after that, it's come down here. But they're still doing pretty good there. So I think that part will be good. If we look at their, let me see here. What was their end result for revenue here? Revenues, we know that. What was their net loss? Was 123 million. Okay, 123 million, so they had about 59.58 cents based on that. And then how much did they get for the FASB on it? 119. So they were still, if you take that out, they would still be about 4 million positive at that point. 4 million positive, they're going to be down approximately, let's see here. Where is it at? They're going to be down about 8 million from that. So as long as they were pretty lean on expenses and things like that, they might be close to having a slight positive EPS without the FASB. But then when you include that into it and the revaluation on Bitcoin, they're going to be probably at a negative EPS, I'm guessing, unless I'm calculating the FASB on Bitcoin wrong, which I could be. But if that does get revalued, and how it gets revalued could be a way that they might actually have a negative EPS. But I think a lot of miners will be in that same boat potentially. With the ones that have a huge Bitcoin hodl, that is. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm looking at this right now. Okay, what's next here? Okay, Ed says, I just finished watching Hive interview on McNally's channel. I believe they mentioned they had an ATM and they are almost fully funded for Paraguay project. Not sure if I misunderstood them. Yeah, it's, if my memory serves me correct, I thought they had an ATM that they could pull on. But I have to look back at that to see on that one. But if they have been pulling on and they're almost close to being funded for that, I think that'd be great. Let's see, David says, lots of talk on Twitter about Cypher getting acquired at a premium. Is this mostly gossip, or is it a case where there's smoke, there's fire, like Grid, Cleanspark, Cheddar? It could be. There's a Bloomberg article that was quoting somebody that wanted to remain anonymous, that had information about the matter, right? So they were talking about that. That's the thing where the rumor is starting from. Who would give them a premium on that? You're looking at hyperscalers at that point, I think. Maybe even CoreWeave. I mean, CoreWeave offered Core Scientific, what, $1 billion to buy the company out at that point, which was a low price, but they tried, and nonetheless. And maybe they were just going to Cypher. Cypher has really good price on electricity and things like that. Maybe that's CoreWeave, or it could be somebody like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, any one of those that wants to get into it. Even maybe Elon Musk with his Grok, anything that he wants. Who knows? We'll find out in due time. But the stock definitely picked up on it because of it. William Justice, evening all, and many thanks to whoever hooked me up with Sebastian's channel membership. Much appreciated. That was, who was that yesterday? I'm terrible with names, so I apologize. But yes, I think that was yesterday. Gosh, I'm terrible with names. Sorry. Okay. With similar hash rate to IREN, why do you have Bitfarms at a low of 4 for the current price? They have doubled the shares outstanding to IREN. Do you have IREN low side current price prediction at 8? Let's take a look at it here. Well, the growth here's a little bit different. So Bitfarms is going to get to 21 exahash this year, whereas IREN is going to get to 30 exahash this year. So there's that difference there. Bitfarms is looking to get to 35 plus exahash next year sometime. We don't know exactly the details on it. But IREN, I have them at 992 to 1487. They have a number of shares outstanding, 186 million. So a little bit less than half the shares that, a little bit more than half, right? No. Bitfarms has 411, yeah. So, yeah, definitely a lot less shares there. So that's why. Okay. Okay. What else do we have here? Question: do you think Trump will announce tax reductions for U.S.-based Bitcoin miners on Saturday, better buy the U.S. ones? I don't think he'll announce anything like that on it just yet. The miners, I don't know. I don't think so. At least not right now. But we'll see. See, Scott says, Seb, thanks for the show. I think Mara is undervalued with Bitcoin above 68,000. Mara under 25. This is best value at this price. For Marathon, yeah, I could see that. I think Marathon, let's see here really quick. Marathon, I have them at 18 to 27. They're 23. I think they can still definitely go higher. And then if Bitcoin goes up higher from here, they're going to go up higher as well. And if they fix their operations right, my numbers are based on the last 3 quarters of revenue. Their revenue last quarter was down from, where's it at? It was down a little bit. It wasn't down that much. But they were at, let's see, end of December, 153 million, right? Then March, they were down 23 million in revenue. This is for just self-mining here. This does not include any JVs or anything like that. And then June, they were down a little bit more here, potentially as well. So if they had the same or close to that, they would have done a lot better in the numbers based on the millions that were added in here on that one. So if they can fix their operations, and it looks like they have for the most part, that should bode well for them going forward. Why some miners dropped after markets? That could be just profit taking. You see that sometimes, not a big deal there. Let's see. Question: are you expecting good financials for IREN? Okay, let's take a look at IREN here really quick. See what we got on them. Let's see. IREN here. IREN came in at, let's see here, 53. They're going to be pretty close to being even with Q2 numbers or Q1 numbers. Based on my numbers here, at least, they're estimated right now. But they were at 53.992 million in Q1. They're looking like they're going to be in Q2, 53.934. At that point, they were also, let's see here, what did they have? They were 8.27 cents on the basically diluted here. So, well, their shares did increase here a little bit from where they were. So maybe there might be a little bit less, but I still would expect them to be maybe positive in the EPS side of things for them. If things stay the same, let's see, the shares are now at 186. At the end of Q1, they were at much lower than that. 140. So they added about 40 million shares. I mean, you can do the math on it and figure that out, where their EPS could possibly come in at if everything else stayed the same for them. So we'll have to see. Okay. Has Riot fixed their operations since last year? Thanks. They are fixing them at Rockdale. So we should see much better numbers for July, at least. I would expect to see much better numbers. If we don't, we need to find out why that is. Let's see. Hive is 1.4x market cap to their annual revenue. Some other miners are 6x already to their future annual revenue. Now they have given future growth rate plan as well as, not to forget, HPC. Yeah, I say that they're undervalued. I agree. Which miners do you think will have the highest increase in share price this bull run, e.g. 8 to 10x? If you're looking at it from now, it's going to be maybe a couple, maybe one to three miners maybe might do that, depending where Bitcoin goes. If Bitcoin goes to 250,000 or something like that, we could see a lot of miners doing that. But a lot of the miners already have had nice run-ups from their bottoms at the end of 2022, right, in December, where they bottomed out at. If you look from where their price is at that point to where they are now, a lot of these miners are going to have more than 10x towards the bull run from the bottoms. From here, I expect at least for the majority of these miners to do at least a 5x. That's kind of my thinking on it. They could do even better depending where Bitcoin price goes, but that's kind of where I'm thinking here. 3 to 5x right now, and then they could do more. Bitcoin goes up higher. Or if they announce something, some good news, they could do better at that point as well. Let's see. Which other company might bid for Bitfarms beside Riot? I believe Cleanspark was in talks with Bitfarms as well at one point. There might have been other companies, we just don't know. And most companies, I don't think are going to be bidding for them. With Riot being in there right now, I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so. David says J. Cole was the one. Yes, thank you so much. J. Cole was the one that gave out, was it 5 memberships to people? So thank you again, J. Cole, for that. Thank you for reminding me. Let's see. Hi, so if these miners continue to dilute, do you think this will affect your price prediction? If they dilute a lot, possibly. My original, on some of these, my original price for Cleanspark was like $70. This was going back probably a year to maybe a year and a half to 2 years out, and they have diluted quite a bit there. But we've seen also Bitcoin go up from there. So as long as Bitcoin goes, it kind of equals out a little bit. But depending on how much they dilute, I guess things will change at that point. Scott, thanks so much for the super chat. You're very welcome for the Mara update. How good lower interest rates for Bitcoin miners with sorry, that was my puppy there. She was sleeping. It seems like she had a nightmare. How good lower interest rates for Bitcoin and miners with zero debt? Not sure what the question is there. Let's see. Coin went down 6% after hours. Any thoughts there? Did they report their quarterly results? Is that why? Let's take a look at your coin really quick. See what's going on there. Coin. Coinbase. Okay, let me take a look at that. Are you talking about Bitcoin? Because coin's actually, let's see here. I don't think I have the after hours numbers for them yet. Or the high was, let's see here. Finished at 265. They have earnings coming up, looks like by this, on Thursday, August 1st. So they still have a ways to go. I'm not sure what's going on there with coin. Let's see, Bitcoin is down just a little bit right now, so there's not much going on there. So I'm not sure. Not sure what's going on with coin. David says, if Riot doesn't fix their issues, Jason has to go. Yeah, that might be a tough one there. I like the fact that he's been forthcoming and honest about their issues. That's great. That they're working on getting those things replaced, fixed as well. That's all great. Now you just got to execute. And if they can't get their uptime much higher, are they curtailing a lot? Is that really the issue there? Let's see. How would Bitfarms fund next year's growth to exceed 35 exahash? They stated, Jeff Lucas, the CFO, stated in an interview with H.C. Wainwright that they are fully funded to 21 and a little bit beyond that. Don't know how much beyond that is, but they will probably still pull on the ATM to do that. Let's see. Let's see. Is there a premium for green energy miners? No. Not that I can see. Hive was the one that was kind of talking a lot about green mined Bitcoin and how that's going to get a premium for them and for other companies that have ESG mined Bitcoin. That's never came to fruition. I didn't think that was going to be the case anyways. Nobody's going to pay a premium for Bitcoin. Why would you pay a premium for Bitcoin when you can buy Bitcoin on the exchange for a lot lower price? Doesn't make any sense there. So I just didn't see that happening, and I still don't see that happening anytime soon. Question, what's the valuation for miners for year 2025 EV versus exahash? Do you have already some numbers in your head? Especially BitDeer should be interesting for 2025. Enterprise value to exahash. A lot of the numbers that we have right now are only for like 2024, the end of 2024. We do have some miners that are going to be growing more so in 2025. And that includes Cypher, TeraWolf, Cleanspark as well, right? And Bitfarms now to 35, IREN to 40, and then I can't remember where Riot's supposed to go in 2025. But we do have some numbers for those, so we could possibly run something on that, but it wouldn't be that great. Question. Hello, Seb. Can you list the miners with AI as side business? Thank you. Well, as a side business or as a core business, because right now core, their HPC AI is going to be like their main business next year when they do get that up and running. Also, Bit Digital right now, that's kind of like their main business. They're making more revenue on that currently than they are from Bitcoin mining. The ones that have a side hustle right now would be Hut8, Hive, IREN, who else? Cypher, TeraWolf, Hive, Hut8. Ones that are looking to get into it is also like Cypher, I believe, TeraWolf. Who else is in there? Gosh, I'm drawing blank. I think it might be all of them that are in it right now, off the top of my head at least. What is CORZ projected exahash, i.e., what they are fully funded for? They seem to be most efficient miner. And they are fully installed right now. They do have growth plans going forward. They came out with a press release that they're working with Block Square for their miners they're building. They're supposed to be buying like 15 exahash, but we just don't know how many of the older machines that they have in place right now, how many of those will they take offline. So they're at 19 exahash right now, roughly. If they take out 10 exahash, that brings them down to 9. They had 15, that brings them up to 24 exahash potentially. And those are not possibly fully funded. We don't know where they're going to be getting the funds for that. So that's a question there as well. They didn't provide any information on the machines, timelines, anything like that when they reported that news. Let's see. Is Google showing incorrect after hours? It's different when you look into NASDAQ or Yahoo Finance. How can miners be 8% after hours without any news? Yeah, I mean, the after hours information, which miner are you talking about in general on that one? But I don't, so for me, it doesn't really matter. I don't day trade them anyways. If they're up, they're up. If they're down, great. I can buy more potentially, but I'm looking at this at a longer time frame. Let's see. Hi, Sabah. I'm new to crypto each week. I'm rich. I'm ruined. I'm rich. I'm ruined. Yeah. How do miners typically react? Is it a steady upward trend, or is it major moves here and there? Yes, it is volatile. Okay, so that comes with the territory here. You might be a millionaire in the beginning of the week. By the end of the week, you'll be broke. So look at the long time frame. I think we still have a long time to go before we reach the peaks potentially within the next 12 to 18 months. And then if you're day trading them, that's going to be a little bit tougher because you're trying to pick the tops and bottoms relatively quickly on the day, or just trying to make it quick, 5%, 10%, whatever it might be. But if you're going in towards the longer time frame, where I mean longer, I'm talking about 6 to 12 to maybe 18 months. At that point, I would say maybe dollar cost average into them. If on the dips or anything like that, as long as there's nothing that's earth shattering where they're not going out of business or going bankrupt, I think at that point you'll be fine. It's just the market is sometimes the market. Sometimes we have Bitcoin going up and the miners are actually going down. Sometimes we have Bitcoin going up and the miners go up. Sometimes we have Bitcoin going down and the miners go up. So, I mean, it's a wild, volatile sector that we're in. Something that you have to get used to, unfortunately. How do you see Riot price? Is it fair price to get in? I feel like it's staying in the same spot compared to with other miners. Riot is not performing as well as the other miners. It's down towards the end on a lot of the metrics that I look at as far as where's the price up from year to date from the last 52 weeks. How's it performing to other miners? It's not doing well. Excuse me. And I think that might be just because of their past operational issues that they've had. I think if they can fix those, I think the stock will do better. I'm also concerned that maybe them trying to buy out Bitfarms is having a negative impact on the stock itself. Maybe investors are not thrilled about it potentially. I don't know. What else we got? Do you think Riot outperforms more on Cleanspark from this point on? Where's Riot? Riot right now is at $11 or something. As it is, 11.58 right now. I think it will possibly still do like a 5 to 7x this cycle, possibly. And depending where Bitcoin goes, might be even higher than that. I'm just looking at conservative numbers for them. I think Cleanspark from where it's at right now, I think it can do maybe, it's pretty high right now. My original target was 70 on Cleanspark, so that would get them approximately a 4 something X on them from where they are. Let's see, Marathon is at 23. I was thinking Marathon could possibly get to like $85, $90. So that's still only like a 4x for that one. So yes, I mean, if you're looking at it that way, if Riot can fix their issues and things like that, it might be able to outperform going in the short term, not short term, I guess, potentially this cycle. But all you need is a good news story from any of these miners, from whether it's Marathon, Cleanspark, IREN, or anybody else, that they're growing their hash rate further, or they're getting an HPCI customer with a meaningful business there, and those stocks can rally. So it's really tough to just kind of say this is the one and only one that's going to do really well, because things can change on a dime here, as we've seen before. Okay, let's see. George, or is it George Soto? Thank you so much for the super chat. Buy your puppy a treat and thank you for your hard work. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes she gets nightmares. Freaks me out at night sometimes. She's spoiled. She actually sleeps at the foot of our bed with us. Let's see. David says, that's why I liked Wolf and Hive. Not much dilution. Many other diluted like crazy. Hive diluted like crazy too. Remember, Hive also did a reverse split. So that's why they have a lower share count right now. Wolf has done dilution. We'll have to see how much they diluted to pay off the debt that they paid off here recently, the 70-some odd million here. So we'll see how much they diluted there as well. Let's see. David says, I don't look at miner portfolios unless one I want is down 25% from the recent highs and I want to buy. Otherwise, some weeks I feel like king. Other weeks, I think I'm just eating cat food to save. Yeah, ramen noodles. Yeah. I know how that is. It was a rough 2 years because I started buying in 2022. Yeah, I think it wasn't until like middle of 2023 where I started seeing positives on my portfolio. Other than that, it was just always going down and down and down. It was not a fun time. If Bitfarms uses an ATM to fund 35 exahash, what is the expected outstanding shares number to be at? Now is around 411 million shares outstanding, depending on how much they need. If 15, so let's see, they would need about 14 exahash at the current price. I could probably run the numbers on it, but I'm not going to be able to do that in my head. We're probably looking at, what is that? Average price is around $16 per terahash. You can run the numbers. So do 16 times per terahash. We have to find out how many machines we would need. For 14 exahash, you would need approximately, 5,000 for each exahash roughly. Maybe even a little bit less than that, depending on the machines that you buy. So I'll just say 5,000 per exahash. So do that times 14. You're looking at 90,000 machines for additional 14, 90,000. And then if you're paying like $2,000 per miner, what is that going to be? 90,000 times 2,000, that's 18. Is that 180 million or 18 million? I think it's going to be like 180 million at that point. So you're going to need that amount. Divide that by the number, the share price right now at $2 and something, and you're looking at that point. What would that be? Let's just say 100 million divided by 2. You're looking at 50 million share dilution, something like that. My math is right in my head. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Sparkling says, hey, Sabaya, I stopped buying into Cleanspark in March since I've been splitting what I've been adding into between CORZ and IREN. What do you think about my strategy at the moment? Should I add it to another Bitcoin miner in your opinion? I haven't been buying into Cleanspark either, right? It's had a nice run up. I have a very low price, average price on them. So for me, it didn't make much sense. So I was looking to where they are. If I'm getting 5x potentially from them, they could go up higher than that, but I'm guessing conservatively they could be 5x. I saw IREN was lower price at one point, so I did switch out a little bit from Cleanspark into IREN. That worked out pretty well. I've been buying into Bitfarms more so because I think that one's still more undervalued. So I'm kind of looking for ones that might have that. So if you have CORZ, IREN, and Cleanspark right now, I mean, maybe look into Bitfarms potentially. That might be one. Riot might be another one. Who else? Bit Digital. I mean, there's a couple you could possibly look into. Question: when you calculate the minimum and maximum price of a stock price, you base on the future quarter revenue, right? Do you also exclude their BTC holdings? Thanks. I look at their last 3 quarters that are actual numbers for self Bitcoin mining. I don't include everything for most of those guys. And then I look at the current quarter that we're in right now, or the one that we just finished, which was in June, right? So once we get July numbers, we'll start looking at the Q3 numbers for those, what the possibilities could be there on that. And that's kind of the way I base it on that. Do all 50% of revenue net income, and then 75% as well when things get really good on Bitcoin. And then I use a PE to kind of see where they could possibly be divided by the number of shares and things like that. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Let's see. For Bitfarms Tribune tomorrow, you can show your dog. Can you show your dog for good luck? Yeah, if she's around near me, I'll grab her. It's a little beagle. She's about, what is she now? She was born in October of last year. So let's see, 9-10 months right now, something like that. SH says 18 million, so that seems kind of low. 18 million for, what is that, 90,000 machines? That seems low. 18 million. I would think that'd be like higher. Let's see. Sparkling says, yeah, I have some Bit Digital and Bitfarms, not much Riot though. Okay, so that might be one to look into as well. If they can, like I said, if they can fix their operation, things like that, they should do much better going forward. Okay, but all right, I think I cut up to all you guys' questions here. So tomorrow we'll see what the Ethereum ETFs do for us. Right, we'll see what happens there. How much of a pump we'll have on that, and will that also affect Bitcoin going forward? I'll see what else we have from the miners tomorrow. See if anybody reports anything that's interesting or anything like that at all. And then I'll try to do a quicker stream on Wednesday because I want to leave on Thursday morning relatively early to get to Nashville in time to be there like mid-afternoon or early afternoon actually. So I'll keep you guys posted. Oh, tomorrow. Also, I'm going to be joining McNally Money tomorrow. I believe that is at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. I think it's his time, 10 o'clock. So that should be going, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I think we're going to talk about the miners just in general, get some questions from you guys as well that are on his channel. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all we got going on. Okay. So thank you so much for coming in. As always, you guys are fantastic. Thank you for all the tips and things like that. Greatly appreciate it. And then maybe tomorrow, if my puppy Pebbles is close by, I'll grab her. I'll show it to you guys, or I'll put up a picture of her on the screen for you guys if you guys are really interested in that. Let's see here. We got a couple more questions here. When are you buying more Bitfarms? I need cash. The remodel of the kitchen is eating up into my cash. So hopefully when that is done, I'll be able to scrounge up more cash for that. We calculate it's going to cost X, but it always goes over it. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with here right now. And then the last one here. Hey Seb, question: is the miner multiplied applied to the percentage gain that Bitcoin goes up? No. I think you're talking about the sheet that I have and then the price targets that I have for them. It's not from there. I do have another sheet that I look at the multiple where Bitcoin could go from there and what the miners could get on top of that. But that's a different sheet. It's not for the individual miners themselves. All right, that is it. Hope you guys have a great night. Thank you again so much for coming in. I'll see you guys tomorrow.